Okay, greetings class. In this recording, we're going to talk about sound design, okay? Also, we're going to talk about the last two keys, okay? After sound design, we have the fourth key, which is effective communication, and the fifth key, which is student involvement, okay? Now, usually, when we perform effective communication and then student interaction, those are usually covered by your other subjects on how you talk with your other constituents, as well as how you actually include the students in learning. Here in assessment of learning, okay, usually we focus on the assessments alone rather than the other arts of teaching. Okay, so one of our concerns in assessment is to determine what particular assessment methods are actually compatible with the targets that we have set. Okay, so previously we have set the type of assessment we are going to use, and then followed by the targets, the type of targets where we divide our standards into different parts and then we put them into different targets. Okay, at this stage we assume that we already have our targets. Okay, so at this particular juncture we will decide what particular assessment is best for our selected targets. Okay, in our previous lesson we have talked about those the type of assessment methods. Okay, Chapuis et al. Also suggested different types of assessment methods. Okay, so in this case we have four. Okay, we have selected response, written response, performance assessment, and personal communication. Of course, as I have told you last time, kakaiba po ng assessment methods yung ibang mga references natin. But I'm sure you'll see a lot of parallels between Macmillan and Chapuis methods of assessment. Okay, so let's move on to the different types of assessment methods. Okay, under selected response, you will see there are some assessment types that you recognize. You have multiple choice, binary choice or true or false, matching type, and then fill in the blanks. In written response, you have their short answer items and extended written response items. Okay, yung short answer items, these are basically yung mga what do you call this? Yung mga short essays natin. Okay? Mga supply test. Hindi na siya identification na. It's now supply test. And then yun yung mga short answer tests. Ang extended written response, of course, yung ating unrestricted essay and yung ating problem solving, especially the complex problem solvings in mathematics. Okay, performance assessment is a performance task, or basically when you do a performance task, you will also need to have performance criteria. Under personal communication, dito papasok yung oral questioning. You see there questions during instruction, that is yung ating informal oral questioning. Interviews and conferences, participation in activities, of course, oral exams if meron ka mga formal questioning or mga formal oral questionings, and of course, student journals and logs. Okay? So here is a target method match produced by Chapuis et al. But don't worry, nasa module niya naman po yan, and we're going to talk about it in the next parts of this recording. Okay? So in assessing knowledge targets, okay, this is yung mga yung mga pagpapares. If you use selected response in assessing knowledge target, okay, this to actually have a good combination. Since selected response can cover a large area of factual and procedural knowledge as well as conceptual understanding. Okay? Recall na yun sa ating mga multiple choice items, halos kino-cover na yung buong mga modules natin. That is because selected response has the capacity to cover a lot of information. And at the same time, madali siyang i-administer and madali din siyang ma-measure. Kasi nga, when you use selected response, usually iisa lang yung tamang sagot. It is very objective. So, napakadali lang talaga makita kung tama or mali ng bata yung isang answer. Okay? Now, if you want a stronger match for knowledge targets, you'd want to use written response. Ito yung pinaka-strong na connection ng assessment method sa knowledge target. Kasi when you use written response, dito talagang magagamit ng bata lahat ng knowledge niya, lahat ng mga connections with other knowledge, and of course, yung pinaka-higher level ng knowledge targets, which is conceptual understanding. At the same time, we also eliminate yung pag-guess ng bata. Kasi pag selected response, pwede silang mamili lamang ng isa or mga konting sagot, okay, na maaaring makuha nila kahit sa panghuhula lang. Selected response, mawawala na yung guessing factor. Talagang it's either they put what they know or they just bluff, which at the same time, madali lang i-check pag nagbabluff yung isang estudyante. Dinadamihan lang yung words para magmukhang madami. Okay? Kami po mga teachers ninyo, alam na po namin yan. Okay, binabasa naman po namin ng maayos yung mga essay ninyo. So we know when a student is bluffing or enumerating or stating yung kanila talagang knowledge. Okay? Now, the problem with using written response is, of course, yung paggawa ng tamang mga questions. Okay? What type of questions can actually elicit a good representation of the knowledge of the targets? At the same time, pag napili namin yung questions na yun, we also have to assess them. And assessing written response can take quite a lot of time. Okay? Hindi naman po isang tingin lang, alam na agad namin kung tama or mali. We also have to reason out why an answer is correct or not. And of course, kailangan nakabase sa criteria na gagamitin namin. Okay? Now, performance is best used sa mga knowledge targets if your learners are not able to read or write. However, sabi ni Shopee, pag mga matatanda na yung learners mo, okay, effective lang ito sa mga good performers. Kasi paano yung mga hindi magagaling mag-perform? Does that mean na wala silang knowledge? Accurate ba yung iyong assessment method? Pangalawa, is it efficient? Okay? Efficient meaning, yung iisang performance task mo ba, kayang i-cover ang lahat ng knowledge target na in-establish mo. Okay? Kasi chances are, baka hindi. A performance uses a combination of all of your knowledge, but it cannot always assess all types of knowledge. Okay? And also practicality. When you're doing performance, of course, this is a mixture of all the targets. Okay? Yun yung napag-usapan natin last time. So how can you use performance to isolate the assessment of knowledge target when in the first place, ang performance ay combination ng knowledge, reasoning, and skill. So, hindi po maganda yung combination ng knowledge target and performance targets. Now, knowledge target and personal communication is a good match. Okay? It's a good match simply because when you do personal communication, okay, tinatanong mo yung mga tamang tanong. Okay? When you ask a question, the students will be forced to use their knowledge to give a correct answer. Okay? Now, sabi dito, for formative assessment, it is highly suitable for the task of gauging real-time learning of students. Remember that ang ating formative assessment, gumagamit yun ng informal oral questioning, and you can do it at any stage of the lesson. Okay? So, maganda po yung personal communication for assessing knowledge targets in a formative manner. Okay? Magiging inefficient ito for summative assessment because when you're doing summative assessment, of course, kailangan marami silang maisagot. Okay? Hindi naman pwedeng magtatanong ka lang ng isang question tapos up to 50 points yung question na yon tapos 5 minutes lang ibibigay mo. No. Okay? Napakarami pong kailangan i-cover sa summative assessment na hindi kayang i-cover ng isa o dalawang questions lamang. Although meron tayong mga oral exams, chances are there are better ways to assess knowledge targets aside from personal communication, especially if you use summative assessment. Okay? So next we have reasoning targets. Okay? Now, selected response is a partial match for reasoning targets. Because when you are reasoning, what you want to know is to have your students use their own knowledge to solve problems or to create new things for them to perform the reasoning patterns. Okay? Now, hindi naman sinasabi na hindi talaga pwede ang selected response. As you will see in your module, there are some examples, okay? There are some questions that actually appeal to the reasoning targets of the learners na pwede mong gawa ng selected response. For example, ito, which of the following statement best describes how dogs in real life are different from the dog in a story. Okay? Bibigay ka ng mga simple choices dyan. Okay? Mga 5 or 4 if you want. But nonetheless, if you can look at the question at how it is framed, okay, nakakonekta po siya sa reasoning ng bata, specifically sa comparative reasoning nila. Okay? Pareho rin po yung rationale dito sa pangalawang tanong. What generalization can you make from this selection about how plants lure their prey? Okay? Generalizations, meaning they are thinking of a general rule, they are inferring, meaning they are using inductive reasoning. Okay? So, reasoning po iyan. Okay? Which answer best explains the author's purpose in writing the story? The author's purpose. Okay? So, this is basically also another example of inference. Choose the sentence that best tells the story, or that best tells what the story is about. Another question on inference. And of course, the last question is for evaluation. Okay? So, further, siya po et al. Warned that if you want to assess how well students can select a strategy, etc., you may use another assessment methods. Okay? Now, again, ang pinaka-problema dito sa selected response is that you are limiting the response of your students. Whereas, perhaps, they can think even of better ways, better statements, better sentences, better conclusions than the ones that you have provided. Kaya siya ay partial na match lamang sa reasoning targets. Okay? Now, ang written response po is the best match sa reasoning targets. Because when you are reasoning, okay, of course, you want to show what particular thinking, what particular logic that you have used to arrive at a particular solution, generalization, etc., etc. Okay? Now, in order to maximize the advantage of written response, okay, in reasoning targets, you must select good or new questions that requires your students to use a lot of reasoning patterns. Okay? So, in this case, of course, ang reasoning targets, kailangan talaga yung mga tanong mo ay nakaangkla sa paghahanap ng mga panibagong paraan para magamit yung knowledge ng learners. That is actually the hard part on this one. Okay? Further, Chapuis et al. Asserts that the criteria used to determine student scores must include the quality of each student's application of the pattern of reasoning, as well as the accuracy and appropriateness of information or evidence brought to bear. What does this mean? It means that your sole criteria in grading reasoning targets or in assessing reasoning targets using written responses should be based on the response alone, not on the writing, okay, not on the demeanor of the student, but only focusing on the content and how logical, how the reasoning of the answers are actually present in the output. Okay? And then performance. This method is only appropriate for some reasoning targets, but again, may problema din po ang performance sa reasoning targets in the same manner na marami din siyang problema sa knowledge targets. Okay? So again, ang performance po kasi, combination po yan ng knowledge, ng reasoning, and then ng skill. Okay? You cannot isolate all of these things when you are assessing reasoning targets using performance. Okay? And of course, personal communication is, of course, a strong combination with personal communication. Di pala strong, good lang pala siya. Okay? Sabi dito, when combined with adequate questioning skills, teacher can probe into the reasoning processes of the students. Okay? Now, it is only good if you know how to ask questions. Okay? Kaya po yung mga teachers po na bago, okay, hindi po ginagamit ang personal communication for assessing reasoning targets. Kasi sometimes, okay, you have to think of questions on the fly. Pag may sagot yung isang students, kung gusto mong i-probe yung answer na yun, kailangan mabilis din yung iyong isip. The problem is, that's not always the case. especially kapag mga practicing pa yung teachers. Even us, your instructors, are not able or are not always able to ask deep questions that assess reasoning targets. Okay? And of course, sabi din dito, it requires a considerable amount of time. And recording these assessments are tedious. Why? Because when you are probing for reasoning, ibig sabihin, your students will take time to form their answer. Kasi nga reasoning yun. They have to process all of these things, all of the knowledge that they have. Compared sa paggamit mo ng personal communication sa knowledge target, madali lang. Okay, kukunin niya lang yung knowledge and then that's it. Sa reasoning kasi, kailangan niya pang i-process yun. And that takes time. Time nakakain sa iyong instructional time. Remember that when you are in depth ed, or when you are in school, ang time mo ay very limited lamang. Okay? Kaya po, while it can be a good combination, reasoning target plus personal communication, chances are, hindi mo siya gaano magagamit. Okay? And of course, yung pagre-record, mahirap din. Kasi paano pag nakalimutan mo na yung answer niya? Okay? Pag ilalagay mo yung score, paano mo mababalikan yung mga answers nila? Okay? Remember na pag nagpa-reason out ako sa inyo ngayon, and if I do it again next week, next month, chances are baka iba na yung ma-reason out ninyo. Okay? So, hindi po reliable ang reasoning under personal communication. Okay? Next, we assess skill targets. Okay? Now, ang skill targets, as we have discussed last time, it is when you have a student do something. So, you can already imagine na ang skill target ay hindi talaga nakamatch sa selected response. Because you are measuring knowledge here sa selected response or even reasoning. However, mamimili lang sila ng response. Walang psychomotor or walang motor skills involved doon. Okay? So you cannot assess the skills of a student simply by having the student select a particular answer. Hindi po pwede iyon. Okay? Kasi baka po ang ina-assess mo lang ay yung knowledge ng skills. Yung procedural knowledge but not their skill on the procedure itself. Kaya po hindi maganda ang selected response with skill targets. Okay? The same with written response. Okay? Or constructed response. If we only use selected response and written response methodology and our curriculum includes skill targets, we are not capturing the whole picture of student achievement according to Chapuis et al. What this means is, again, you are tasking your students to perform a skill. Okay? A skill. Not just show their knowledge, but we're talking about the skill. Okay? And hindi po compatible ang written response. So, the name suggests, magsusulat yung bata. Okay? Paano mo i-assess yung skill target na dancing kung pagsusulatin mo lang sila? So, hindi rin po compatible ang written response sa skill targets. Of course, ang inaasahan natin, ang pinaka-best na compatible sa skill targets ay performance. Okay? Kasi dito sa performance, you are tasking your students to perform. You are asking them to do something. Okay? Something which most of the time is physical. Remember, kasali po sa performance yung mga dance, role-play, singing, okay? Oral speech. Ay, hindi. Sa kabila pala sa personal communication. Or even speaking is actually even a performance. Okay? So, dito po talaga papasok yung skills ng bata kasi makikita mo na talaga yung skill na yon sa performance nila. Okay? The problem, okay, when assessing performance again, is yung paggamit ng time. Napakalaki po ng time na magagamit sa pag-assess ng skill targets. Okay? Kaya po most of the time, okay, ang skill targets po ay they're on the low level. Okay? Or minsan isa na siyang pinaka-practicum. Okay? Pinaka-final requirement sa isang unit para minsan lang gagawin. Hindi po pwedeng araw-araw mag-skill targets kayo. Mahirap po iyon. Makakagamit po ng napakalaking time, okay, which is not advisable kapag marami ka pang content na kailangang i-cover. Okay? And of course, personal communication is only useful for skill targets if the skill that you are testing is oral proficiency. Okay? Yun at yun lang po yung paraan na effective ang personal communication for testing skill targets. Kapag ang skill target mo mismo ay nakafocus sa communication. Okay? Otherwise, move ka sa performance. Okay? And then, we move on to product targets, yung pinaka-complex. Okay? Now, product targets are not compatible with selected response because, again, when you have a students undergo a product target, ang inaasahan mo ay isang new product. And they will never be able to do that if the correct answer is only selected from the givens of the teacher. Okay? Hindi po pwede yun. It's, what do you call this? Para ka nagmi-mix ng tubig at langis when you mix product targets and selected response. Okay? Now, written response may be limiting students in answering tasks. Okay? Further, this method of assessment is better suited for knowledge and reasoning targets. Okay. How does this manifest? Okay. When you have students write a response, they are simply answering a question. Kahit magpapa-essay ka dyan, usually the essay is in a question form. They are not tasked to make something entirely new. They are tasked to use their reasoning. Okay? Yun na yung pinakamataas na kino-cover ng essay. Okay? So, hindi rin po pwede ang written response sa product target simply because ang pinakamataas na kino-cover nito ay reasoning targets. Again, ang essay po, makaka-question siya ng reasoning ng learners, makakaabot siya sa synthesis. But, it cannot produce a product target itself. Okay? Of course, the best combination sa product target would be your performance. Kasi kasama po sa performance ang paggawa ng product. Okay? Paggawa ng isang chart, paggawa ng isang research proposal. All of those are under performance. And recall na ang performance task natin, they are always accompanied with performance criteria. Okay? And we remember na ang product targets usually, okay, pwede ka naman meron mga mabababang product targets pero usually, mga complicated na requirements po iyan. Okay? Kaya po mas maganda po ang isang performance task na mag-embody ng ating mga product targets. Okay? Now, sa personal communication naman, okay, it's only a poor match to product targets because it only assesses prerequisite knowledge. And without deliberate task, a teacher may not be able to assess skills through observation or questioning alone. Okay? Kasi nga, ang pinakamagagawa natin dito sa personal communication is ask the students. The students can create new knowledge, but again, that is only under synthesis. Hindi siya under product targets. Under lang siya sa reasoning targets. And of course, pag ino-observe mo lang, paano yun? Baka nga knowledge target lang ang kayang i-measure ng observation. Okay? So, personal communication is a no-no if you are assessing product targets. Okay? So, again, product targets, the best combination sa kanya ay performance. Okay? So, as you can see here, okay, you have to select what particular assessments do you plan to do or do you plan to have for each target. Kasi po, meron po mga magagandang combinations dyan. And of course, meron din po mga hindi magaganda. Especially if you know exactly what you are measuring and what you are assessing. Okay? So, here are some example of the matches. Okay? Ng mga learning targets. Yung mga targets po natin. Yung target type. And of course, yung assessment method po. Of course, I will leave this for you to read. Unfortunately, English and math lang yung naibigay ni Chapuis et al. Okay? So, hopefully, in the other subjects, we can, what do you call this? We can chop. Okay? We can divide some particular standards that are coming from your curriculum guide para magkaroon tayo, para mahati natin siya into targets, into target types, and then determine the assessment methods na pwede po natin gawin sa kanila. Okay? So, The assessment development cycle is as follows. Lahat po kasi ng assessment, whether it be formative, summative, kung kahit anumang assessment tool yung gagamitin mo, may development steps po siya na kailangan mong gawin to ensure your quality. Number 1 is to determine who will use the assessment results and how will they use them. Recall na isa tong part ng ating clear purpose. Okay? Kasi po, again, ang summative assessment ay para sa ibang stakeholders. Formative assessment ay para sa learners po iyan. Okay? Identify the learning targets. Ito yung ating key number 2, having clear targets. And the key number 3, select the appropriate assessment method or methods. Okay? Kaya po natin pinag-match yung mga targets natin sa kanilang mga tamang assessment methods. Number 4, determine sample size. Your sample size simply refers to your students in this particular case. Because for example, okay, nagme-measure ka ng knowledge targets, right? Sa knowledge targets, pwede kang gumamit ng selected response, ng written response, di performance ha, or hindi kasama yung performance, or personal communication. Okay? Now, sa sample size po ito, for example, malaki yung iyong students. Okay? Gagamit ka ba ng questioning? Tatanungin mo sila isa-isa. Maaaring hindi maganda yon. So, you would focus on which is the most appropriate. Pag malaki po yung sample size, gagamit ka ng, of course, ng selected response just to measure knowledge targets. Okay? So, that's why kailangan malaman yung ating sample size when we plan an assessment. Okay? Sa inyo, class, hindi lang kayo yung estudyante ko, napakarami pong section ng hawak ko. So, mapapansin niyo po, as much as possible, if I can, gumagamit ako ng selected response lamang. Para po hindi po magamit yung time ko outside of school para i-check yung mga papers niyo. Of course, napapansin ninyo na hindi lang knowledge target yung minimeasure ko. Minimeasure ko din yung inyong reasoning skills. Wala pa naman po tayong skill target. Wala pa naman po tayong product target. Of course, yun yung disadvantage ng napakalaking sample size. Kahit gusto ko ng product or skill targets, maaaring hindi ko sila ma-assess on time without sacrificing other resources na kaya kong i-sacrifice. Or actually, hindi ko kayang i-sacrifice kasi busy din po yung ibang tao. Anyway, the development stage is this. Develop or select items, exercises, tasks, and scoring procedure. Dito ka na gagawa ng mga test items. Determine mo na, meron akong knowledge target and reasoning target. Ang gusto kong gamitin na assessment method sa kanilang dalawa ay selected response. If you want to use selected response, magde-develop ka na ng selected response test. Okay? Pag gagamit ka naman ng performance, nakita mo, meron akong product task. Okay? Of course, product task, wala ka na talagang takas kahit malaki pa yung sample size mo. Ang pwede mong gawin, pwede mo sila ipag-group para isang product lang yung gagawin nila at mas kukunti yung i-check mo. Okay? Suppose yun yung gagawin mo. Of course, kailangan mo mag-develop ng scoring procedure para doon. Anong mga criteria? Okay, anong mga qualities yung titignan mo para ma-identify mo kung ano yung strong products or weak products. And after that, you review and critique the overall assessment for quality before use. Okay? I-double check mo kung mali ba yung grammar mo, kung naayos na ba yung pointing system mo, kung yung mga choices mo ba ay pwede pang ma-improve, kung yung criteria mo ba, kung yung mga weight ng bawat criteria, 10% sa creativity, 90% sa sources, baka naman pwede mong dagdagan at pwede mong i-balance yung weight. All of those things are under reviewing and critiquing. Okay? After mo na-review and na-critique yung iyong assessment, you can now conduct and score the assessment. And of course, pagkatapos mong i-conduct iyon, saka mo na siya i-revise. Okay? This assessment development cycle is from Chapuis et al. I am aware na natatakpan ko. Okay, dito sa aking likod yung Chapuis et al. Lahat po ng resources natin for this part is from Chapuis et al. Wala pong sa akin dito. Okay? So this is, again, the assessment development cycle starting from planning stage. Yung pagpaplano na ginagawa natin ngayon from key number 1 to key number 3. Okay? The development stage, which is still under key number 3, technically. And of course, yung paggamit na ng mga nagawa natin na assessment tools and assessment rubrics. Okay? So after that, after ka naka-design, okay, i-communicate mo na yung mga scores mo, of course. Now, again, ang communication po, there are ways that you can deliver the results. Okay? Sa atin, sa Google Form, I can release the answer kasama ng mga tamang sagot. Okay? In that way, yung mga assessment, it can also serve as a reviewer for your next types of assessments. Okay? Sa DepEd po, okay, kino-communicate natin yung results, okay, ng summative assessment sa mga students and more importantly, sa mga parents. Okay? When you do formative assessment naman, of course, naibibigay mo dapat agad yung feedback sa learners kasi nga you want to form their learning. Okay? What's important to note here is if you do formative assessment, dapat agad-agad maibigay mo yung feedback para ma-maximize mo yung effectiveness ng formative assessment. Okay? So, summative assessment, pwede mong i-delay yan. Kasi, tapos na sa summative assessment. Pero sa formative, no. You have to give it as soon as you can. Okay? And of course, kailangan mo siya ibigay, sabi dito, in a timely and understandable way. Okay? Pasimplin mo yung feedback if you can. If you can't, di magbigay ka ng mas marami pang explanations in case na meron mga follow-up questions yung ating mga students. Okay? Sabi dito, communication in a summative context leaves all recipients understanding the sufficiency of student learning, such as when we convert summative assessment information into grades that accurately reflect achievement at a point in time. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Okay? What this means is that ang summative assessment po, it leaves us with results. Okay? Ang mga results na to kailangan nating sabihin sa mga parents kung paano natin nakuha at kung paano natin na-evaluate. Paano naging low level yung anak nila. Okay? Paano na-consider na with high honors itong kaklase niya pero siya, hindi. Okay? Okay? Bakit ganito yung score ni ganito? Bakit ganito lang yung score ko? All of those concerns, okay, should be communicated, especially kasi yung ibang sa atin, okay, sa generation natin, actually, lalo na sa previous generation, they are very grade conscious, okay? At the same time, kailangan nyo pong mag-ready sa mga ganong uri ng tanong, okay? So next, we have student involvement, okay? Now, traditionally, sa mga teacher-centered approaches, hindi po gaanong kasali yung student sa planning ng assessment. However, sa panibagong mga pedagogies ngayon, yung mga student-centered approaches, outcome-based learning, okay? Or OBE or OBL, okay? Learning and teaching, OBTL, okay? All of those things emphasize the role of students in the learning process. Again, kasi nga po, ang student po yung decide if they want to improve or not. Okay? Kaya po napakalaking part ng ating formative assessment yung assessment as learning. This is when students decide to better themselves. Okay? So, dapat po, as much as possible, you have to involve your students in a lot of the teaching or learning process. Okay, sabi dito, from the cost-benefit of analysis of task, the capacity to achieve learning targets, and their motivation to learn or give up. Kailangan po involve po sila sa mga iyan. Okay? Pag nag-set ka ng targets, are your targets actually appealing to your learners? Kasi pag hindi, isipin nila, ay, magbibigay ako ng attention at time dito tapos hindi ko rin magagamit. Wala ring benefit. What's the point? Okay, tatanungin ng students yun, what's the point of this target kung hindi naman siya beneficial? Okay, yun po yung cost-benefit. Dapat po beneficial yung mga mapipili nating tasks or targets sa students. The capacity to achieve learning targets. Sino ba nakakaalam sa students? Kundi yung sarili nila, di ba? Kahit mag-diagnostic test po tayo, the students' own understanding of themselves will actually have more weight than the diagnostic assessment results. Okay? So, kailangan din po natin sila i-communicate on those things para po malaman talaga natin kung yung target natin ay smart. More particularly, kung our target ba natin ay achievable. And of course, yung motivation nila. Some of the students have low motivation. That happens. Some students have high motivations. Okay? It is our work as teachers on to to capitalize on the motivation of our learners. Okay? Sabi dito, without the students' confirmation, teaching is wasted effort. Okay? Kaya nga again, as much as possible, we have to have the students be invested in the learning process. Otherwise, we are simply wasting our time and our resources. Okay? Kaya naman, as learners, okay, I know that some of you do not want to learn, just want to pass the subject. That's true. But sometimes that that utilitarian view in lessons is actually enough motivation to keep you invested in the process. Hindi lahat ng subject gusto natin. Ibang subject gusto lang nating ipasa. Sometimes that is motivation enough. Okay? Tayo as teachers, we have to bank on that motivation kahit gaano yan kaliit. Okay? So, the view here, when you have high-quality classroom assessment, is to transform a traditional classroom into a more modern classroom. Okay? From a classroom test that loses focus on the instruction to a classroom test that is highly connected with the curriculum. Okay? From assessment that only use selected response, papunta sa mga assessment na mas authentic, na mas realistic, and of course, mas relevant sa ating mga learners. Mga assessments na hindi alam ng estudyante kung saan nanggagaling or kung saan ba or kung ano ba talaga yung kailangan nilang matutunan. Papunta sa mga assessment na sa simula pa lang alam na ng estudyante kung ano yung aasahan sa kanila. Okay? Mula sa assessment, okay, na nagka-count ang lahat ng pinapagawa, papunta sa assessment na iba ay para sa practice lang, para magkaroon sila ng mas magandang results when it comes to summative assessment. Basically, we want the classroom to have a more balanced view on formative assessment and summative assessment. Okay? From a classroom na passive participants lang, nakikinig lang yung mga learners, papunta sa classroom na sila na yung gumagawa ng knowledge, sila na yung gumagalaw, na natututo through assessment as learning experiences. Okay? From a students na hindi alam kung ano yung graded event, na hindi alam kung saan sila magaling, papunta sa mga estudyante na na-identify agad yung kanilang strengths and of course, nabibigyan ng chance to improve their current strengths. Kasi, yun po, yung nasa inyong left na nakikita ngayon, yan po ay isang traditional teacher-centered classroom. Nowadays, we want our students to be involved, to be more motivated, okay? To be more accountable with their learning. Yun po yung mga goals natin dito sa bandang right ng ating screen. Okay? So, these last two slides are for you to basically just see the summary ng classroom assessment competencies natin. Okay? So, for clear purpose, ang balak mo dyan ay assessment processes and results serve as clear and appropriate purposes. Okay? In this particular key, you identify the key users, kung saan nila gagamitin at anong particular information yung kailangan mong i-provide. Okay? Dito din, kailangan mong pag-ibahin ang gamit ng formative and summative assessment. Sa clear targets, lahat ng assessment mo ay nagre-reflect sa student learning targets. Okay? In this case, as a teacher, dapat ngayon, alam mo na kung ano yung 5 uri ng learning targets, kung paano maging specific classroom level yung mga learning targets, and kung paano planuhin iyon, at kung paano siya isulat sa paraan na maiintindihan ng estudyante. Kasi nga dapat, in this case, yung mga targets natin kailangan alam siya ng mga students, alam intindihin, alam kung ano yung inaasahan sa kanila, etc. etc. Okay? Sound design, learning targets are translated into assessment that yield accurate results. Okay? So, ang competency dito, you design assessment for intended formative or summative purposes. Okay? You select assessment methods to match intended learning targets. Okay? Napag-usapan natin yan, yung matching ng targets. Understand and apply principles of sampling learning appropriately. Okay? Again, nasabi natin yan, when we are considering a sample that is large or small, nababago din yung considerations natin sa types of assessment na gagawin, sa individuality or group or cooperative learning ng isang task, etc., etc. Okay? Write and or select assessment items, task, scoring guides, and rubrics that meet the standards of quality. Of course, dito natin kailangan gawin yung mga rubric and yung mga tests, which is what we will do in the next lessons or maybe even in the next parts of assessment of learning. And know and avoid sources of bias that distort result. Marami po kasi mga bias, lalo na kapag subjective yung ating type of test. As much as possible, we want to eliminate those biases. Okay? Sa effective communication, of course, pag nakuha mo na yung results, kailangan mo siyang sabihin or i-communicate sa iyong mga stakeholders in a way that is appropriate and in a way that can actually help them improve in their craft. Okay? So, ang competency dito, use assessment information to plan instruction, offer effective feedback to students during learning, meaning kailangan ka daw mag-practice ng formative assessment. Record formative and summative assessment information accurately. Okay? So, again, sa pagre-record po ng formative, kailangan po i-note yan. Hindi naman kailangan buo, pero kailangan may notes ka po. So, summative assessment, what you need there is a score. A score that has evidences. Pag selected response yan, madaling makakuha ng evidence, may sagot sila. Pag written response, the same. Pero pag performance, rubric po iyan. Hindi mo po pwedeng itapon yung rubric na na-scorean mo, ha? Okay? And of course, sa personal communication, medyo mahirap. But you can do it. You can try. Pero of course, pili ka muna na iba bago personal communication for summative assessment, ha? Okay? Then you combine and summarize information appropriately to accurately reflect current level of student learning. Kahit formative man yan or summative assessment, what they do is show the learning of the student at a point in time, whether it be in a current or in a past point in time. But nonetheless, what they both show is a reflection of student learning. Okay? So, kailangan pong ipakita yung mga points in time na ito para po mai-plot natin yung development ng mga learners. Okay? And number 5, student involvement. Students are active participants in the assessment process. Okay? Ang competencies dito is number 1, identify students as users of assessment information. Ang mga student ngayon, of course, whether it be summative or formative, they are able to make use of this information. Okay? Minsan nakokontrol na nila yung kanilang motivation, nakokontrol nila kung ano yung kailangan pa nilang aralin, etc., etc. Okay? Share learning targets and standards of quality with students. Kasi pag na-share mo po iyan, they would have a goal that they would work towards. Okay? Hindi yung tipong basta accept lang na accept. No. Dapat meron po silang end goal na nakikita or at least nararamdaman. Okay? Design assessment so student can self-assess and set goal on the basis of results. Okay? Ito po yung pinaka-goal natin, to have students be accountable for their learning through self-assessment and of course, focused revision. Okay? Kung paano po nila may improve yung sarili nila. Kasi sila at sila lang po yung best na makaka-improve ng kanilang performance. Okay? And letter D, involve students in tracking, reflecting on, and sharing their own learning progress. Okay? So of course, as students perform self-assessment, as teachers, kailangan din po nating magbigay ng guidance sa kanila kung yung mga goals ba na iset nila sa sarili nila ay achievable in the given time or if they are actually jiving, okay, or what do you call this, or appropriate with the targets of our own assessment. Okay? So, yun po yung mga competencies natin in the different keys of a high-quality assessment. And this actually ends our second module. Yan na po yung last slide. Okay? So, with that, I hope that you have learned something new, and all of your questions and other concerns will be addressed in our next face-to-face meeting. So again, that is all. I hope you have learned something new, that you are prepared for our summative assessment. Okay, good luck and have a good day. Bye, class.